up, guys? Amsterdam Hoops back today with another video. Something a little bit different, a little bit more reactionary, but it's something I wanted to talk about. Giannis has finally made it clear, and the Bucks have finally seemed to understand, and they finally have made their push to admit that their time is over. They are now going to be taking aggressive fielding offers for Giannis, and obviously now it's become clear that Giannis is given the green light to get out of there. But we're going to talk about this whole drama, the trades that could happen, and all of that. But before we do, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let's grow the channel. I want to find ways to grow and become a better content creator, and that can only happen if you guys give me your insight down below. But we're going to also talk about the truth of this whole situation, which is the Bucks did all they could for Giannis. And what I mean by that is very simple. Did it all work out perfectly? No. Right? Like, obviously, if you're the Bucks, you would have preferred if Giannis was healthy for one of those years. Or I think, especially if you're the franchise, you would have prayed Chris Middleton stayed healthy in 2022. And that was probably your best chance to get another one. They would have ran into the Heat, which would have been tough. But Giannis was at a whole different level in the playoffs already. Middleton was hooping. Drew was still doing his thing on the defensive end. But Giannis's injuries, along with, Dame's injuries towards the second half. And I think, quite frankly, this team, time in and time out, has yielded to Giannis and what he has wanted, for better and for worse. Like, they fired, their head coach for Doc Rivers when they were 30-12. That bit them in the butt. Didn't really change anything, and they still are struggling. But I think at the same time, right, Giannis, you could have just asked for out already. You probably would have been gone, most likely. Doing this whole, I want to stay, but then you delete everything on your Instagram, like you don't want anything to do with the team, and then it's just like, guys, seriously? Giannis, people would not hate you for wanting to leave and asking out. Just do it, right? But now the Bucks finally kind of caught on and begrudgingly, I think, have accepted the reality that Giannis doesn't want to be there anymore and it's time to move on. But now the question comes into play, who are the best trade suitors for a team in Giannis Antetokounmpo? And I think some of the teams are pretty straightforward. OKC's probably got one of the best offers you could take. Just straight up, J-Dub, picks, AJ Mitchell, however you want to do it, it would happen. The Spurs have a really good package, but I just think they're going to kind of stick with their window. Denver can't do anything really. Houston can't really do anything. The Lakers with the memes of, Austin Reeves, or they trade Luka for Giannis and all that. Okay, whatever. I think, to be 100% honest with you guys, Miami's got a really good overall package. The Knicks, if the rumors are true that the Knicks are willing to engage the Trailblazers in a 3-team trade that basically Drew and Giannis go to New York, and then I believe it's Cat goes to Milwaukee, Portland gets Mikal Bridges. But the problem is that the Bucks, and I actually respect the Bucks for this, they have made seemingly their desires public now, which is you're either going to give blue chip young talent, aka rookies or, second, third year players that have extremely high upside, or you're going to give them a crap ton of draft capital, or both. And I think that's what they should do. If he ends up on the Knicks, that's great for the Knicks, and that's great for Giannis, and that's cool. He wants to be there. But I think for the Bucks, that's an awful trade. I genuinely believe that. You're basically getting Cat in return, because why would Portland give Milwaukee picks back for them not even to be the ones to get Giannis? That doesn't make sense. I think, frankly, the way that this whole situation is working out, Miami's got a pretty good offer because you got Kasparis you could throw in there, even though you got Tyler Hero you could throw in there, Khalil Ware, because seemingly him and the Heat have a problem, I guess. And you could throw in 2 or 3 first picks, and maybe. Now, the Warriors are a fun one, too, because there are rumors that they're going to trade Kuminga for Wiggins and then trade Jimmy for Giannis or AD, and then you basically go all in on Steph in this last year or 2 or 3 that he has. And it'd be interesting. I just don't think they have the young capital or the young players or really the draft capital. Not that they don't have any, but I don't know if they really got what they need for that specifically. That's where I think things can get a little bit tough for the Bucks. I think if you're the Bucks, again, I'm trying to see what OKC has. Are they willing to move off of, J-Dub? Are they willing to see what they've been going through this year has been rough? The lack of offense outside of SGA has been basically non-existent in terms of self-creation, in terms of scoring, however you want to, slice it up, they can't do it. So do you go, you know what, man? You're Sam Presti. You have all these picks. Frankly, you can't do anything with half of them because eventually you're going to start just cutting people for the sake of roster space. If you're Detroit, do you throw in Asar Thompson and Tobias Harris and however many picks and go all in on this Cade and Duran and Giannis little era? If you're Boston, Boston won't do it. But technically, if they wanted to, they could give up a bunch of capital and Tatum, and they would get Giannis with JB and Derek White, but I don't think they would ever do that. Toronto allegedly has made BI and RJ untouchable, or Emmanuel Quickly, one of the two, untouchable for a Giannis trade, I guess. Cleveland is second apron. They can't really do anything. Philly, they can't really do anything with their books. Orlando has no capital unless they give up like Anthony Black, like Tristan DeSilva, and maybe a couple picks for that, but Atlanta could, right? Because they do have those Bucks picks. Chicago is looking a little rough because we don't really have the blue chip talent or really the surrounding roster that would fit for Giannis. And obviously, I think most of these bottoming teams won't do anything, but I do have one sneaky one. If the Indiana Pacers said, you know what, bro? We've got a center problem. But you know what? What if we just trade for Giannis and make him the 5? You would run him, Siakam, Nembhard, Nesmith, Tyrese Halliburton when he comes back. You could give the Bucks your pick for this year. So basically a top whatever pick, right? Because they're not all of a sudden going to get a lot better. The Pacers could shut it down, right? Be like, you know what, Giannis, next year we'll be back. We'll be healthy. We'll be rolling. And we're going. And things can get kind of interesting. Because then you have a healthy Halliburton, right? He'll get used to it, right? It'll be a little rough to start, but he'll get used to it. He'll get back to it. Giannis. And then you have floor spacers and that kind of quick pace that he could play with, and things can get a little bit scary. Indiana could be a sneaky spot. Everyone else here, by the way, I'm not even wasting my time on. They're all not making that trade. Dallas isn't making that trade. Not now that Nico isn't there. The Clippers don't really have the money. Portland, I don't think they're going to do it. Minnesota would be interesting, but I don't think they have the draft capital or really the young talent either. Sorry, Timberwolves fans, but ultimately, what do I think? I think that Giannis will probably not even be traded by this trade deadline. I think there's a very good chance that he is traded in the offseason, where teams know what they want, how they've got it, what they do with the books, and what they can do to take things to the next level. But I think that if you're the Bucks, I genuinely would stand 10 toes on what you want, because you're a small market team. In my opinion, you're giving up, not giving up, but you're moving either the best or the second best player in the entire world, and you're a small market. The odds of you rolling the dice and getting another Giannis is slim, because it was basically about 40, it was like 40 years from Kareem to Giannis for the Bucks. Like nothing close to those two was in that time span. So you need to make sure that you're getting the best available offer for now and the future, or more so, I guess, for the future for the Bucks. But I just want to make it clear, man, the Bucks did what they could for Giannis. I don't want this to be Giannis could have done, the Bucks did Giannis wrong. No, they traded for Dame, the injuries and everything. They couldn't have foreseen that. They traded for Drew and won him a championship literally the first year it happened. They put their faith in Giannis. And whether it was due to his injuries or the team's injuries at times, right? Like Middleton in 22 and then Giannis in 23, and Giannis missed all 24 and Dame was out of 25. At times too, Giannis just didn't necessarily perform. So I think at the end of the day, the Bucks did just about everything they damn could for Giannis. And I think Giannis did everything he could for this team. But I think we took way too long to get to this point, and now it might screw over both of them for now. Now you might be stuck waiting until June to make a deal. Now that could help because maybe, if the Thunder lose to the Nuggets, or if they lose in the finals or whatever it is, right? If they lose, maybe then Sam Presti is desperate and goes, you know what? I'm making this trade. Then maybe it happens. I think, guys, I want to know what you think. Do you think Giannis gets traded this year? Or I should say this season. Is he going to be in a different jersey before the year ends? Or do you think it'll be in the offseason? As always, guys, this was Emster No Scoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I know it's something a little bit different, but this is me getting my genuine thoughts out while also sort of talking through it with you guys. So let me know what you think down below. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.